What's up, y'all? It's your boy Denim Jeans back at it again with another video. Today, man, we're continuing the series of top 10s in the NBA, going from small forwards now to the power forward position. And I think, based off my list, this is probably the most stacked position right now in the NBA, at least in the top five. Like, it's really top heavy, but the top power forwards, I think, are like the strongest group of, or the strongest position group in the NBA right now. So we're just gonna hop right into it, man. I don't want to waste y'all time. I want to hop right in and let y'all get on about your day. All right. So honorable mention. Got a few people. Got Zion Williamson. He's looked really good to start the season for the Pelicans. Really good at like exerting his dominance in the paint. I would still like to see him improve as a defender and be or play like at this level that he's playing at for an extended period of time. He still only played in like maybe 30 professional games, but if he continues at the same pace, he'll be in the top 10 soon. No doubt. I also have Draymond Green, former Defensive Player of the Year, one of the most important pieces on the Warriors championship teams. Hasn't been able to play this season yet because of injury and getting back into conditioning or into shape. But I think that once he comes back, the Warriors are going to start to look better. One, because they'll have an actual defensive presence on the floor, and two, they'll have another person to help facilitate instead of it having to be Stephen Curry, and he can focus more on scoring because Kelly Oubre ain't helping them out. I also have Aaron Gordon. I think he's looked all right for the Magic so far this season. He's just been like always a slightly above average NBA player. I haven't seen much improvement from him, but if he does have a jump this season, he can easily slide into that top 10. And lastly, I have Tobias Harris. Honorable mention. He's looked better this year for the 76ers than he has in the past, but he's still, there's something missing out. I just need to be more consistent for the team before I can say that he's better than any of the other players in the top 10. Now, that being said, number 10, I have LaMarcus Aldridge. Future Hall of Famer, has tapered off over the past couple of seasons, but he's still been relatively consistent. He'll give you about 18, 19 points, about 9, 10 rebounds. He is a value asset for you to have on the floor because he can also play defense in the post a little bit. Like, he's average at it. He's not a liability per se. But when he's on the floor, I think the Spurs are a better team. I would trade him if I could, just to get some value out of him before his contract runs out. But with him on the floor, you always have a chance at least being a bottom tier playoff team. That's LaMarcus Aldridge for you. Number 9, I have Blake Griffin. It's exciting to see him play basketball again. I just hope he can stay healthy. I think he's already like rested a game or two this season, which is probably just precautionary, but it still makes me worry a little bit. Just two, maybe 3 seasons ago, he was an All-NBA third-team player. Looked like he's getting back into form after some major injuries. But we all know how good he can be if he's able to be on the floor. The trouble is, can he stay on the floor? You don't know. You're never sure. And that's a big thing for me is if you can't play, I can't like value you highly as a player because you're not helping out the team if you're on the bench, if you're always hurt. But yeah, he can facilitate. He's improved his shooting. He can get to the basket at will still. He's an okay defender. But if he's just healthy, man, and can get back to his form from 2 years ago, he has another good 3 years in him, assuming he can stay healthy. At number 8, I have the young buck, Jaren Jackson Jr. for the Memphis Grizzlies. I love what he brings to the team. I'm really excited about their future. Obviously, they have Ja, but right behind him, you got Jaren Jackson Jr. He can shoot the ball lights out. He's just a dominant scorer. Could be a better rebounder. Could improve on that side of the floor. Could also improve defensively. But I think his offensive game is really well-rounded, especially for how young he is and how much of a role he's had to play on a near playoff team last year. At number 7, I have John Collins. I think he's going to be compared to Jaren Jackson Jr. for a while, considering how similar they are in age. But he's just slightly better on the offensive end of the floor, in my opinion, than Jaren Jackson. They can both stretch the floor as fours. They can put the ball on the floor to Neither of them can play a lick of defense. I think Jaren Jackson is probably slightly better defensively than John Collins, but what John Collins can do offensively, I think, supersedes the gap there is defensively between him and Jackson. So I'm really excited for their future too. Him and Trae Young are going to be a problem for years to come. Number 6, last year we got the first, not the first, but I think the first like recent All-Star on this list is in Domantas Sabonis. He is a freaking dog, man. He started off the season really, really hot, has been the best player on the Pacers by far, looking like, 4 games in, he's going to have like another All-Star appearance. Obviously, all that could change. It's only been like 4 or 5 games at most for teams. But he is hooping. And he's also one of the better passing big men in the league. Obviously, you have like Jokic who's at the top, but then like right under that, you have like Adebayo and then probably Sabonis third. He just does everything for your team offensively. And I think he's better when he plays the center position. But even at the power forward position right now, him and Miles Turner playing together, they're thriving. Sabonis is playing defense. Like, he's that dude. Just above him, I have Kristaps Porzingis. I know I was just talking about how much I care about health, and he hasn't been able to play because he hasn't been healthy. But when he is, he's just so much better than everyone else on this list. He can finally, he's the first person on this list that I've mentioned that can consistently be a high quality defensive asset. He's a stretch 5. He's a 7'3". He's a 7'3" center / power forward, or power forward / center that can shoot. And that's such an incredible asset, especially like in today's game. He can put the ball on the floor. He can even pass a little bit. But who's going to stop a 7'3" NBA player that can shoot? Nobody. When he's healthy. Number 4, I have NBA champion Pascal Siakam. I think he's been the best player on the Raptors, obviously, since Kawhi left. He almost led them to these conference finals last year. They lost in the second round to the Celtics in 7 games. I think it showed like his weaknesses offensively a little bit because he can't stretch the floor and he's relatively one-dimensional offensive side of the ball. But his defense has improved year by year. He's a top-tier defender now. His offensive game is still improving. You can see it in the beginning of the season. He's got a few new moves in his bag. And I think he can be the best player on a team that makes the finals. They were really close to the East Conference Finals. I don't know how they would have played against the Heat. To be determined, I guess. But you got to remember, this team won a championship, and then they lost their best player in Kawhi Leonard. And then the next year, Pascal was asked to step to the plate, and he led them to a 2nd seed in the Eastern Conference after the 1st seed Bucks. Got out of the first round, and then they lost by 4, I think it was, in the second round of the playoffs on the way to the Eastern Conference Finals. So this team will be a problem. It's going to be weird when Kyle Lowry leaves, whenever he finally retires, because he's getting up there in age. But they got a bright future behind with Pascal. And number 3, I have Jason Tatum, future superstar. Not yet. He's not a superstar yet, but he will be one day. His clutch gene, his offensive game is damn near complete. He can score on the inside. He can get you acrobatic layups. He can shoot. He can hit free throws. He can ISO. He can do it all. He can even run the offense through him, facilitating if you absolutely need to. He's great. And he's the best two-way player, I think, on this list so far, because his defense is locked down as well. The only thing that's going to make him better is experience. He made these conference finals last year, lost to the Heat in 6. Yeah, because they won the first round against the 76ers. Then they beat the Raptors, and then they lost to the Heat in the Eastern Conference Finals. But, god damn, they are good. The Celtics. Jason Tatum is a budding superstar. I don't really think it's a debate that he's better than the people I mentioned so far. He's legit. Number 2, second place in Defensive Player of the Year voting last year, Anthony Davis. And number 1, Giannis Antetokounmpo, back-to-back MVP. If you argue that Davis is better than Giannis, let me know down in the comment section below why you think that. He won back-to-back MVPs. I really don't think that it's up for debate that he's better than Anthony Davis. Yes, it doesn't mean being MVP doesn't mean that you're the best player in the league, right? Yes, Anthony Davis won a NBA Finals last year. He was also playing with LeBron, who is the best player in the NBA. So argue with your mama. Number 1, Giannis. Number 2, AD. I don't really think it's a debate. Let me know what you guys thought about my list down in the comment section below. Centers next, and then maybe coaches or 6 man after that. We'll have to see. Peace.